Folks, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss the phenomenon that is the Kabuto King. If you don't know who the Kabuto King is, he's just your average guy that really loves fossil first edition Kabuto. And so much so that he's bought almost 2,000 copies of it already and is continuing to buy both the near mint raw and the graded cards. So much so that the PSA 10 is almost out of stock at this point on eBay. The auctions were selling in the 80s and 90s back in September, and now there are auctions ending in the 1200s, and the lowest buy it nows are in the 1300s, which is, yes, like a 13x, 12 to 1300% growth in a few months. And of course, we could talk about the market manipulation behind it, but I want to explain to you guys market cap, and not in the ways I've explained it before, so you can really understand why so much money is moving into collectibles and Pokemon. And it's not for the reasons that everyone thinks, okay? It's because investors see the ease of making money in these kind of situations as opposed to others. So everyone wants to talk about Bitcoin doubling all the time. And they just say these things without, I think, comprehending or critically thinking about what that means. So what that means is Bitcoin's market cap at roughly 93,000 a coin right now is $1.75 trillion. Okay? To double that, to go to 186,000 a coin, it would need another $1.75 trillion injected into Bitcoin. Okay? We're not talking about a bunch of crypto army bros on the internet investing with their pocket change. We're talking governments, wealth funds. We're talking large amounts of the world population putting money into it. Again, which can and probably will happen, but it's a much slower growth than when Bitcoin used to go from 1,000 to 2,000 or even 10,000 to 20,000. It's like Nvidia going through its massive growth, and now it's a multi-trillion-dollar company, and now the growth has slowed because it takes so much more money to move things at those levels. Which is why people are looking at collectibles and they're saying, whoa, hold on. Kabuto has roughly 900 and something PSA 10 copies, and it's selling for under $100. Do the math, carry the two, that's 90 something $1,000 in market cap. We're not even talking about how many are on the market, which is always a small percentage, 1-2% of cards. We're talking in existence, okay? Now that Kabuto has went to $1,200, $1,300 times the same population, which is still the same. Maybe it's one of a couple, right? 900 and something. That's only like $1 million. It's like 1.1 million. So $1 million injected into a card has risen at 13x. Do you know what $1 million into Bitcoin or Nvidia would do? Nothing. It would barely move the needle. You wouldn't even know if somebody invested $1 million into those companies. You wouldn't even hear about it. It may, fluctuated a few cents. It wouldn't even go up a whole point, I'm sure. Okay? This is why people are putting money into collectibles. They're seeing the opportunity, right? And even if it does have a massive correction, right? Paldea, right? Buying it at $80, $90, $100 a box, went to almost 500. Alex, it's crashing. It's in the 300s. That's 250% gain. You know how hard it is to make 250% gain in one of these large scale investments in the trillions? Near impossible right now. So people are looking at Pokemon and they're saying, well, I have millions of dollars. Now, my 10, 20, 30 million may not make me much in the large scale crypto world unless it's a meme coin, or the stock market world unless I'm playing options or some penny stocks. What can I do in collectibles? And they're starting to do the math. They're saying, well, how many boxes do I think are still in existence of this box? What's the market price? So the market cap is this. If I can make 100% if I move it to this. So if a box is 200 and it's got roughly 100,000 left in existence, and I want to move it to 400, that's only a $200 spread. Well, $200 times 100,000, what is that? 20 million? I do the math right? So $20 million can double your money in a Pokemon product, but $20 million into something else would barely make you anything, right? And then even if it corrects down 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, you still made 50% on your money. And this is what people are starting to realize, guys. And it's only going to get worse from here. You're already seeing a lot of the vintage cards dry up because people are realizing that. They're saying, wait a second, there's only like 50, 100, 200 in population. I don't care if the card is $10,000. $10,000 times 100 in population, dude, that's like $1 million. I can own the entire market for $1 million. Well, no, there's some collectors that'll never sell. There's some just won't make their way to the market. Oh, so I only need to buy like a couple $100,000 worth to buy out the entire market on every platform? Well, yeah, I mean, technically. And then I can just list it for whatever price I want. People have to pay it or they don't get it. Yeah, it's how this works. And people are willing to do it. And so this Kabuto King thing, it's awesome. It's fun to talk about. Who knows where it's going to end up? Who knows where it's going to get to, where it's going to settle? Who knows how many copies he ends up with? Who knows if he ever sells at all? It's all irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, it continues to prove the point I've always been making, is that people are going to continue to see the opportunities in this hobby and how easy it is to invest in this hobby and how easy it is to move markets. Not only that, these boxes are always going down in supply, right? Always going down. And so what people don't get is they say, Alex, how can more money continue to pour into these things, keeping them going higher and higher? They don't need more money. You don't need more money. If there's 100,000 boxes, again, this is an arbitrary number, no idea. If there is 100,000 of this box, okay, and it's worth $200 today, that's $20 million, okay? If it goes down to 50,000 boxes in existence in the next 5 years and it stays at 200, well, that means the market cap actually dropped in half. If it runs to $300 a box and it drops to 50,000, the market cap still went down. Meaning, you could actually have people continuing to divest from these products, but as long as they're still being opened daily and disappearing from the market, the price can actually continue to rise without more injections of capital. That's not true for other investments like a crypto or stock, or really a PSA 10 card to be exact, because the pop reports are always either growing or staying the same. That is why sealed product always rises in value over time, is because you need less and less demand, less and less money in the product, as long as it keeps decreasing in supply at a faster rate, which, as we see, it keeps doing. And so the more and more people that continue to see this trend and understand how easy it is to move these markets and how a lot of money to me and you, right? Multiple millions of dollars. These are peanuts compared to actual like investment funds or people with large amounts of money. They're going to start seeing how much little of their money they can inject into certain things that they can really move and make exponential gains. And they're going to keep doing it. And again, this whole Kabuto thing, I think this is more of a meme, but start watching these high-end cards, guys. Start watching these high-end products. And as these boxes start to age and become more and more expensive, continue to watch them. You're going to see more and more disappear from the market, and you're not going to see a lot of them make their way back to the market. Because like I said before, every leg up, there's less and less regular people that hold them. There's more and more of the large-scale people who will, large-scale investors, wealthy people that will hold them and never sell them. And so when Scarlet Violet era made its first leg up, I would say, from, the $80, $90, $100 a box, they all went to $200, $300. A lot of people have already sold. When they make their next leg up and they go to, 400, 500, 600, right? Maybe the top ones, Destin goes to 1,000. You're going to have a whole another slew of people sell out. And then the next move when they get to the high hundreds, maybe some get in the thousands, you'll have a lot more people sell out. And each step of the way, the products either get opened or they make their way to the large bag holders that will never sell. They'll keep holding. They'll make sure scarcity runs the market and the prices will continue to rise. Now, there's always equilibriums. There's always times when things go flat, glass ceilings we can't get through. But over time, as we just saw with this last leg up with XY, Sun, and Moon, we don't really know where if there's a ceiling right now. I mean, modern boxes going to $10,000 like Flash Fire, Phantom Forces, Team Up. That tells you, these boxes can run a long way from where they are right now. And there's just less and less available. And last thing I want to mention is market cap, when it comes to collectibles, it doesn't always mean that you need to have enough to service the entire market cap. Because when it comes to cards and boxes, there's likely only 1% to 5% actually on the market at any given time. And you can test me on this. Go search any of your favorite cards. Look at how many exist. Go look at Umbreon VMAX, the Moonbreon. there's what, like 20,000 something PSA 10s, but there's only ever like a couple hundred on the market at any given time. It's 1%. And this is the same for almost all the cards. 1 to 5% is all you really need. You need enough money to be able to buy the 1 to 5% on the market to really move things. That's all I got, guys. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it helps you understand where things are headed, and hopefully you are in the game and can benefit from it. That's all I got. We're out.